Oh, I thought it was garbage. I caught it now. I'm there. I'm there now. I'm there. I'm there. I'm there.
1993, a movie came out that kind of changed the way that we looked at sports. And then there've been a lot of sports type movies, but this one movie, The Program, if I'm not mistaken, today's kind of the anniversary. I know what I thought when I first saw the movie Program, but what were your first thoughts when you saw it?
So the first time you saw it, Nick, you were 21 years old. I was like 12, but I digress. This this is this is the you know watching that movie, at that age range, and I believe I was like in middle school or I was a freshman, and I believe I was in middle school because 93, 80, I was 11, 6th, 7th grade, and it was like the holy grail of an introduction into that generation's cinematic representation of football. And when you seen that movie, at that time it was raw. They talked about the college experience and black and white or a black guy, acting white, steroids, inappropriate behavior with a female from a football female perspective, and then the hits, the politics, the Heisman. It was like my mind just exploded, and as my mind's exploding, they just kind of kept having these insane scenes of like the Oklahoma drill and Latimer going nuts lifting weights. It was like, for me, it was the holy grail of movies. There are movies that are better. There are movies that are better. It's not my favorite football movie of all time, but it's one of those things that I will always pay homage to what that is, and I will call it the best because it was like the original of cinematic representation of what football, college football, and what young players aspire to have, and to be able to see the do's and don'ts, um, you know, within that, spotlight.
Now, there was once a football series that was on the Four Letter Network, and it was called Playmakers. How would you compare those two movies and say, well, which one was more realistic? Like we got one
Was
showing
that
depiction of the pro game and one showing depiction of the collegiate game at that time. Which one you think was kind of more accurate in some of the descriptions?
Oh, I thought it was garbage. I caught it now. I'm there. I'm there now. I'm there. I'm there. I'm there. Obviously, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought the storylines were garbage. I thought the depiction was that wasn't cinematic and that wasn't organic. That was overindulgence. That's when it became Hollywood. The
Yeah.
program the program was cinematic. The program, it showed, Alvin Mack, tearing his ACL. And bro, when you seen Alvin Mack, sitting in this hut, with his knee up, with his grandma, crying because he thought he was going to be this first round. Like I was in, you felt that, and you seen Joe Kane's, alcoholic dad, and the mother wasn't around, and you can understand those things. The program, for someone like my age, you can go back and reflect on and understand, um, even in relationship. Like at that time, you didn't know what Joe Kane was going through. Like I kind of was that person that I didn't understand how to be in relationship because of my upbringing. You know what I mean? And he ultimately got it, and but he had to do some stupid things to get to a place where he could be content in relationship. So Playmakers showed me nothing other than uh, it was effery to me.
I would agree because here's what I loved and enjoyed about the program. It touched on so many finer points of the game itself. The competition of a veteran guy competing with an incoming freshman, the academic portion of it, the bias from the coaches knowing certain things and overlooking them, knowing as though they should go in a certain direction, but winning was more important than anything else until it wasn't. And the idea that, listen, the program loves you until you do something that impacts the program. And then now they have to find ways to sever ties with you. But mentioning what's going on with Joe Kane, substance abuse, it is something that happens on college campuses with regular students and with athletes. That was something that wasn't really touched on at that point, but the program actually highlighted it as somewhat of an issue. But the bigger thing is show, hey, what happened with Kane? He overcame that issue and he tried to clean himself up to become a better person. But Alvin Mack, that scene showing him, and it was looked like it was a rickety shack, and his leg is sitting up, and he was just like he was just kind of going through the verbal rhetoric that he normally goes through a game, but to know that his life was derailed because he put all of himself in the game, but nothing in academics. What it said to me during that time, man, it was like, look, dude, we cannot be Alvin Mack. We can't be Alvin Mack. So when we go
Or
to
put
school,
all your eggs into that basket
that's right. So when you
that
go to
allowed
school,
you in that moment.
yeah. So when you go to college, you have to make sure that you focus and put as much time, if not more, on your academics than the game itself, because this is a harsh reality that it can happen to someone. You get injured and it derails your dreams.